In the ancient lands of Greece, where gods shaped the destiny of mortals, a story was whispered in marble halls. It was a tale not just of beauty, but of pride and punishment, a lesson carved in stone. This is the legend of Medusa, once the most beautiful woman to ever walk the earth. Her story is for those who believe beauty alone can conquer fate. For in her reflection lies the danger of vanity and forgotten humility. The dawn over Athens shimmered with gold as temples awakened under the sun. Among them, in the sacred halls of Athena, a young priestess prepared for prayer. Her name was Medusa, with hair dark as night and eyes that outshone the sea. Every step she took drew gazes of awe and whispers of envy. Even the marble statues seemed to bow before her presence. Yet, with beauty came pride, and pride soon took root in her heart. She began to believe even the gods admired her reflection. No one, she thought, could match the glory of my face. Such words climbed to Olympus and angered the goddess Athena. For in Medusa's vanity, Athena saw defiance against divine order. One moonlit night, Medusa entered Athena's temple alone. She gazed upon her reflection in the sacred mirror meant only for gods. "Am I not worthy of Olympus itself?" she whispered to her reflection. The air grew cold, the torches flickered with divine fury. Athena appeared, her armor gleaming with wrath and justice. "You who serve me with false devotion," thundered the goddess, "shall learn that beauty without humility is a curse upon the world." With a gesture of divine power, Athena's eyes blazed like molten gold. Medusa screamed as her reflection twisted into something monstrous. Her hair turned to serpents, her eyes became weapons of stone. In a single breath, her beauty was shattered, and terror took its place. The snakes hissed as she fell to her knees, unable to look upon herself again. "Take not my face," she cried, "take my pride instead." But the goddess had turned away, leaving silence in her wake. Banished from the world of men, Medusa fled to the ends of the earth. She found shelter among jagged cliffs and shadows deep as night. No one dared approach her, for those who did became statues of stone. Birds froze mid-flight, warriors turned pale as marble. The island of her exile became a graveyard of ambition. Years passed, and her tears carved rivers into the rock. She began to speak to her reflection in pools of rainwater. "Once, I was worshipped," she whispered. "Now I am feared." The serpents coiled softly, as if mourning with her. In her solitude, she began to see the weight of her past. Her heart, once proud, became heavy with regret. She longed not for admiration, but for forgiveness. The wind carried her voice across the cliffs, a prayer lost to time. "If beauty is my curse, let my sorrow be my redemption." Above, Athena watched from Olympus, her anger cooled to pity. Even cursed, she thought, the mortal still seeks grace. Many heroes had sought to claim Medusa's head for glory. None returned, until Perseus, son of Zeus, set out to face her. The gods armed him with gifts, a mirrored shield, a blade of starlight, and winged sandals. He journeyed across deserts and stormy seas to reach the forbidden island. At dawn, he stood before the cliffs where statues of men watched in silence. The wind carried a faint hiss, the breath of the cursed. Perseus moved quietly, guided by Athena's unseen hand. "Do not look upon her directly," the goddess's voice echoed within him. "Let reflection, not pride, lead your path." With shield raised, he entered the cave of shadows. The walls were lined with faces frozen in eternal terror. Drops of water echoed like distant cries. At the heart of the cave, Medusa slept, her hair a crown of serpents. Even in her cursed form, a strange sorrow surrounded her. Perseus hesitated, his blade trembling in the dim light. Is she monster, he wondered, or victim of the gods' cruelty? The snake stirred, sensing danger, hissing warnings. Medusa awoke, her eyes gleaming through the darkness. "Who dares disturb the silence I have earned?" she spoke. "I seek no harm," said Perseus softly, though his heart pounded. "Then why bring a blade, child of Olympus?" she replied with bitter calm. Because the world fears you, he said, and I am bound to its will. A single tear fell from her eye, it shimmered like liquid stone. The world fears what it does not understand, she whispered. And for a moment, the cave held its breath. But fate, once written, cannot be undone. The snakes hissed louder, and Perseus raised his shield. Through its mirrored surface, her reflection trembled like a ghost. Medusa closed her eyes, as if surrendering to destiny. The blade descended in a flash of divine light. Silence followed, vast, endless, and heavy. The serpents coiled no more, the curse was stilled. Perseus gazed at her reflection in the shield, peaceful at last. Forgive me, he whispered, though the wind took his words away. The cave grew quiet, save for the dripping of tears turned to stone. Perseus placed her head within a sacred pouch, avoiding her gaze. As he left the island, the dawn broke brighter than before. The gods watched in silence, each seeing their own reflection in her fall. Athena took Medusa's head and set it upon her shield, not as a trophy, but as warning. Let it remind mortals, she said, that pride is the shadow of beauty. And so the Gorgon's image became both shield and mirror of truth. Centuries passed, and the story turned to legend. Artists carved her likeness on marble and bronze, never knowing her sorrow. Poets wrote of her wrath, but forgot her tears. Yet somewhere in time, her spirit still wept within the wind. They say that when the sea is calm, her reflection can still be seen beneath the waves. Not as a monster, but as a woman burdened by her own reflection. Beauty, once her gift, became the teacher of her soul. For every gift without gratitude becomes its own curse. The gods do not punish beauty, they punish arrogance. Medusa's tale is a mirror to all who seek perfection. For true grace lies not in how the world sees you, but in how you see yourself. The stones of her island still glimmer at sunset, shaped by sorrow and time. Some say they hear her voice within the sea breeze, gentle, remorseful, wise. Do not let pride blind the heart, it whispers, for reflection is fragile. And so, the legend of Medusa became a lesson for generations. A story not of monsters, but of choices and their shadows. As night falls over the Aegean, her name glows like a star. Neither cursed nor divine, only remembered. For in every heart that learns humility, Medusa is freed once more.